In this episode, we start the show with a new project I am starting, as well as other announcements. We talk about a pile of games I've recently played. We also discuss Culling One's collection, launch our very first giveaway, and we end it with some feedback from the meeple. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 9 of OnDeck, a podcast about tabletop gaming in the Philippines and an offshoot of our hobby Instagram account, the Boardgamer PH, where we take pictures of and talk about our board game sessions. If it's your first time listening in, welcome. My name is Glory and I host this podcast, sometimes with my friends who also like talking about board games. But before we go to our first segment, I just have a couple of announcements. First, G Live. If you're a board game enthusiast based in Manila, I am sure you've heard of Gaming Library, one of the biggest board game retailers in Manila. They recently launched a podcast series called G Live. Quite catchy, right? I have been helping them out with this podcast series, so please do check that out. It's basically a twice-a-month show. One show is a variety show hosted by Leo and I, with our contributor segments on board game reviews or previews. We also talk about some gaming library recommendations and bestsellers. There's also a roundtable discussion where the gaming library curators talk about board game related topics. This week, we're going to be talking about Gen Con 2019. So if you want to hear from other board game enthusiasts, please do check out that podcast, G Live. Second, I am starting a new project, yay! So something that I've been meaning to do for a while now is to showcase a board game playthrough from start to finish via video. So I got some equipment, medyo budget lang, hindi naman exag. And I have started to shoot some videos and there will be basically two kinds of videos in my YouTube, Facebook, and IGTV. The first one will be Blue and I, inspired by my last episode. We will be trying out different games and see how it plays with just 2 players. The second series will be a video playthrough of different games I play with some gaming library folks. So please do check that out via Facebook and Instagram for details of the launch. So with that long announcement portion done, let's now go to our first segment, What Have I Been Playing? And we better get to it because there's a ton. So it's been a good board game week for me lately. Well, board game weeks, 2 weeks. Because I got to play quite a number of games. So I'll be dividing this up into 3 parts. First are the games that Blue and I played. Second are games that I played with my office mates. And third are games that I played with other gaming library curators. So first, Blue and I played Herbaceous. Herbaceous is a set collection game for 1 to 4 players from Pencil First Games LLC. You basically play an herb collector trying to get the most number of points for your herb collection. Your herb collection will be contained in 4 different containers, and after you've filled up all 4 containers, the game is over and you score. So your 4 containers can either be for herbs of the same type, of different types, of pairs, or of any 3 special herbs. On your turn, you draw from a pile of herbs and you decide whether to put it on your pile, available only to you, or on the communal pile, which is also available for your opponents. But the next one you always draw 2 herbs, will go to wherever you did not place the first card drawn. So play just continues in this regard, drawing cards and collecting herbs from both a communal pile and your pile. First of all, the artwork is superb. I swear, Blue really wanted to start her own herb garden after playing this game. It's not realistic artwork. It's in that sweet middle between realistic artwork and cartoonish artwork. So, alam mo yung pag sobrang vivid ng image, you think it's fake? Parang ganon. I discovered this game after listening to Dice Tower's top 10 relaxing games. And they were talking on and on about Herbaceous being very relaxing. And I was like, I've never played a relaxing game, I don't think so. Let's give it a shot. So, Gaming Library had it and I picked it up. And true enough, it is quite relaxing. But this doesn't mean that it's boring, okay? There are significant decisions. Do I wait it out to score maximum points for my container? Because you can put herbs in your containers even if it's not full. So if you just want to bag, let's say, 5 different herbs instead of 8, then you don't get the maximum points, but at least you get to bag those early. So there's not a lot of player interaction. It's medyo multiplayer solitaire. You still need to pay attention to what's in your opponent's pile because they might be bagging the herbs from the communal pile before you do. So kung makita mo na kailangan niya yung another pair, right? Pwedeng unahan mo na siya. So there is still a bit of player interaction, or at least you have to pay attention. So Blue really loved it. I also really liked it. It's definitely a great filler game which plays in about 15 to 20 minutes. So if you're looking for a relaxing game, check out Herbaceous. Next, Blue and I also played Mintworks. Mintworks is a worker placement game for 1 to 4 players from 524 Labs. What's unique about this worker placement game is that it only plays in about 15 to 20 minutes. Each player will have a limited number of mint tokens that also represents their workers. So you use these mint tokens to get more mint tokens, or quote-unquote workers, and get plans for new buildings and build those buildings. Once a player has at least 7 points, which they own from the buildings constructed, the end of the game is triggered and the player with the most number of points, take into account some other endgame bonuses, wins. So I was naturally curious about this because I really like worker placement. But I like that it's 15 to 20 minutes. Saan ka makakita ng worker placement na 15 to 20 minutes, right? So this is a very straightforward worker placement game. It's good if you want to teach someone the genre, you want to teach them the mechanic and the kind of thinking that you need for playing a worker placement game. It comes in a little tin can, so the size of an Altoids can, but a bit thicker or chunkier. So the table space isn't that small. I mean, you don't need a big table space for this. So it's also a good travel game. So what I like about this game is that even if it's pretty straightforward, there's a meatier game inside than what you would expect. So imagine a filler worker placement game that's fun, if that makes any sense to you. Finally, Blue and I played and recorded a run of Roll Through the Ages, the Bronze Age. Roll Through the Ages is a roll and write civilization game for 1 to 4 players from Eagle Griffin Games. So in Roll Through the Ages, players roll 3 to 7 dice representing your cities. You basically start with 3 cities and move up to 7 if you want to. The dice will yield either foods, goods, workers, skulls, or money. You need food to feed your cities, 1 per city, meaning 1 per die that you roll. You need workers to build cities or monuments. Cities let you earn an additional die, while monuments give you points. And you need goods and money to buy developments, which will give you points and abilities like earn more food per food die. You get deductions if you can't feed your cities or if you roll skulls. At the end of the game, the person with the most number of points wins. So according to BGG, Roll Through the Ages was released in 2008, but this is a classic for me. It's obviously a pretty old implementation of the roll and write genre, but it holds up against some of the really good roll and write games that's currently out. I'm interested to see how this stacks up to Imperial Settlers Roll and Write, because it's also a civilization building game that's in roll and write form. So I really want to check that out too. So it's very easy to teach. Everything flows seamlessly that new players can definitely get into it. So if you want to teach the roll and write genre, but you don't want to do it with an abstract game like Quinto or Gauntlet on Clever, but I understand that Gauntlet on Clever is actually a meatier game and not really a gateway game, I think Roll Through the Ages is a good bet. I'm not sure if it's available in Manila. I know that Gaming Library had it in stock. That's where I got it from. But it's a fairly older game, so I'm sure it'll be harder to get it. But I'm sure Amazon has it. So there, that's Roll Through the Ages. So I also got to play some party games with my office mates. First, we played Organ Attack. Organ Attack is a take-that game for 2 to 6 players by Nick Selok, the creator of the Awkward Yeti webcomics. In this game, players are basically dealt different organs, and your goal is to eliminate everyone by killing their organs with afflictions. Different afflictions will affect different organs, so attacking someone does not feel that personal. Kasi pwede mo sabihin na, ito lang talaga yung mga afflictions ko ikaw lang talaga yung matatarget ko Right? Doesn't feel that personal. The last person with at least one organ left wins. So Organ Attack's theme is definitely cute and unique. It also makes thematical sense. So it was quite easy to teach, right? You have organs and you want to attack those organs. So Organ Attack is often compared to Exploding Kittens. And I must say, I think I like Exploding Kittens more. There's just more suspense, not knowing whether you will draw an exploding kitten, as opposed to just wishing your opponents don't attack your organs. To be fair though, I need to play this again because people at the table enjoyed it very much. Actually, one of them bought this game because he really liked it. And they might even be surprised that it wasn't that much of a hit for me as it was with them. But we'll see. We'll play it again. This does not make me regret trading in Exploding Kittens though. I think I've played that one to death. I just think I like that more than Organ Attack. Next, we also played Bang the Dice Game. Bang the Dice Game is a dice rolling social deduction fighting game for 3 to 8 players by D.V. Ghiocchi. In this game, each player gets a secret role. The sheriff, who is known to everyone, needs to be protected by the deputies. The outlaws want to kill the sheriff, and the renegade, or renegades, wants to be the last person alive. So you attack and heal by rolling dice, Yahtzee style, and bullets lets you attack someone either 1 or 2 spaces away. Beer lets you heal, 3 dynamites, you lose a turn and lose a life, 3 Gatling guns, and you attack everyone, and an arrow is like a deferred bullet, meaning you basically just take an arrow, and when there are no arrows left, you lose lives equivalent to the arrows you have in front of you. So this game is one of our favorites. It's so easy to get into it, and the mechanics are so intuitive. So when you're the renegade, you try to keep a low profile, either pretend to be an outlaw or a deputy. But since the game ends when the sheriff is left alive, the sheriff or the deputy, ayaw mong patayin agad yung sheriff. Gusto medyo, hindi, deputy talaga ako. If you're the renegade, right? Deputy talaga ako, so sheriff protect me. If you're the outlaw, you just want to attack the sheriff and try to kill the sheriff early. Sometimes, the outlaws in our group try to pretend to be the deputies. But it doesn't really make sense because, especially if they start 3, they can kill the sheriff right away. If they're lucky, if the placement is lucky, if they can reach the sheriff. If you're the deputy, your role is just to protect the sheriff. So some of my favorite moments of Bang the Dice Game are the renegade and the sheriff standoff. Kasi nga, the renegade will try to prolong the life of the sheriff. And then yung sheriff na lang yung last enemy niya. Right? So pag standoff, sobrang suspense kasi parang everyone's rooting for different teams. Another one is when the sheriff kills his or her own deputy. This has happened a lot in our group because we don't trust you when you say that you're the deputy. No one trusts you, right? So the sheriff often kills the deputy. Or when the deputy tries to convince the sheriff that he or she is the deputy. Those moments are really, really funny. Also when outlaws are attacking each other because unlike in other social deduction games, the outlaws, even though they're the bad guys, they don't know who the other outlaws are. So it's really fun kasi sometimes pwede mo pang i-attack yung kakampi mo. So we love it so much and I bought the Old Saloon expansion. So this basically just adds more modules to the game, but my favorite part is the additional dice. We call them the heal or kill die. I know there's an official name for these dice, but that's how we differentiate them. One die basically gives you 2 bullets per die. So instead of hitting one person just once with 1 die, you hit them twice. So that's really powerful. But there's also a risk because there's a bullet. When you roll that die and the bullet comes out, you basically just lose a life. And there's also the heal die. This has double beers and it lets you get rid of arrows. There's a new expansion that came out in Gen Con, Undead or Alive, which I understand adds more modules and 2 new dual dice for fighting duels. I'm not sure how this will work, so I'm very, very excited for this expansion. I'm definitely going to pick that up. It's in my must-buy. Finally, I played a ton of games with other gaming library curators. So gaming library curators were basically we're people who help out gaming library in curating their lineup. Basically that. We help them with researching different publishers and stuff like that. So we meet once a month, and now it's getting more often because of the G Live podcast. So I get to play with them a lot. So first we played Cabo. I think I've talked about Cabo enough. But one thing I must add is that it does not get old. Despite me playing it a lot recently, actually tinanggal ko siya sa board game bag ko kasi sobrang dami na niyang plays. So I think it needs a break. I must add that there was a cool moment when I saw my cards. Diba? When you start, you get to peek at 2 of your cards. So I saw my cards and I saw a 0 and a 2 and called Cabo agad-agad. As in first turn pa lang Cabo. It was awesome. I won that round. Next, we played Space Base. Space Base is a dice rolling game for 2 to 5 players from AEG. The simple description for this game is that it's like Machikoro, wherein you earn resources from your own dice rolls and from other players' dice rolls. What's different here, though, is that unlike Machikoro, you roll 2 dice immediately, and you can choose to get the result of both value combined or separately. So pwedeng, if you roll 4-4, you can either get an 8 or 4 and another 4. So this is an awesome part of the game. It's also obviously space theme, and you're trying to earn 3 things. Money, which you can use to buy, and resets after your turn. Planets, which is the lowest value that your money can be at the end of the turn when it resets. And victory points, the first player to get to 40 VP wins. So first of all, what I love about these types of games is that you are rooting for your opponent's dice rolls as much as you are rooting for your own. Since you still get something when it's their turn, right? You're always engaged. Is it better than Machikoro? First of all, I really loved Machikoro, that I bought the deluxe version with all of the expansion. And then I got the Target exclusive Machikoro. I forgot what it's called. But eventually I sold it. I sold it all. Because the games felt samey to me after some time, so I got really tired of it. So I like this better. I like Space Base better than Machikoro, even if it's space-themed, which I am not a fan of. I think right now, the only space-themed games that I like are, that I really like, Space Base and Terraforming Mars. So I'm thinking of buying the expansion, which is, I think, a campaign type, but I needed to take a pause from all the game purchases, so I just, next time na lang yan. Overall, I will keep this game, and I cannot wait to play it again. Actually, fun fact is, nung first time ko siyang laruin, hindi ko siya natapos. Because we were playing a lot of games that day. So, I had to go. We were in the middle of it. I tried to stay and finish it, but I really couldn't. So, I can't wait to play it again. Next, we also played Keyforge. I think I've also talked about Keyforge enough. But I just need to share that Leo and I played. Leo was the one who taught me this game. And he murdered me. As in, wala ako na forge na key, kahit isa. But it was fun. It was still fun. He also taught me some strategy points, which I appreciate very much. But I think I just need to get to know my decks a little bit more, and I'll stand a chance against him next time we play. But the thing with Keyforge is that you need to be familiar with how your deck operates, right? Because since I'm already not familiar with the different cards existing in Keyforge, in the Keyforge universe, I at least need to be familiar with the deck that I have. So I think I'll just need to do that. Next, we also played Sagrada. Sagrada is a dice drafting game for 2 to 4 players from Floodgate Games. In Sagrada, from Sagrada de Familia of Spain, you are basically constructing your own beautiful stained glass window. You do this by filling up your grid with dice from the dice drafting part of the game. There are only 2 rules you need to remember. 1, you cannot place identical dice next to each other. Identical in color or number, orthogonally. Yung pa-cross, right? So up, down, side, side. And you have to follow the instructions printed on your grid, particular number or color restrictions. But not every part of your grid has a color or number restriction, only some part of it. There are also special powers you can use, or tools, they call it tools. But you have to pay for it, and the cost of using these powers will increase depending on how many players have done it. So powers can allow a player to change the number or color. We had one where you could decrease or increase the value or get the opposite number. And then you earn points by fulfilling public objectives and private objectives. And the player with the most number of points wins. First of all, Azul was dubbed as the Sagrada killer. Sagrada was a really hot game in 2017 or 2018. but Azul was dubbed as the Sagrada killer. But in my opinion, and I think Blue shares my opinion when she played this is not true. I much prefer Sagrada to Azul because of the more meaningful decisions during the game. Sa Azul, parang ang feeling ko, okay, kunin ko to. Parang hindi siya masyadong meaningful. In Sagrada, it was like so excruciating to figure out what I need and what is the likelihood of me fulfilling all of the restrictions in my grid. The components of Sagrada are also beautiful. To be fair, maganda rin naman sa Azul, right? But the components in Sagrada are equally beautiful. Well, definitely, the porcelain tiles are better looking, right? But hindi naman pangit yung components ng Sagrada. So it's hard for you to compute other players' potential score at the end of the game. So I appreciate this very much because it was a surprise. I thought I was going to win. But apparently I just came in third place. Because you don't know the private objectives of the other players, and it's hard for you to check if they've fulfilled the public objectives because you want to focus on your own grid. So player interaction is limited to the dice drafting, but that's so intense, especially towards the end of the game, that when your options are limited, that it's fine. It's fine that it's only limited to the dice drafting. It's very puzzly and spatial and not that thematic because, I mean, stained glass, you're using dice, but I still love it. I love the stained glass window theme, and the quality of the components just enhances the gameplay. So I really like this game, and while I have traded Azul, I am keeping this one. And finally, I finally got to play Wingspan. So Sam, another GL curator, shout out to Sam, brought her copy and we played it. Wingspan is basically a set collection engine building game for 1 to 5 players from Stonemaier Games. So you basically are bird enthusiasts, trying to attract birds in your habitat. You lure them by having the right kind of food tokens to feed them, and once they're in your habitat, they get to hold eggs. The player with the most number of points at the end of 4 rounds is the winner. So each round is composed of a decreasing number of turns per player, and you want to earn points from your birds or from hidden objective cards and for public objectives. Objectives can be have water type birds or have the most number of eggs in a particular kind of nest. Those are the kind of objectives that you fulfill. So saying that this game is hyped is an understatement. Stonemaier games are usually like that, right? Scythe, for example. So with Wingspan, pag meron na ang FLGS dito, usually sold out na yan, wala ka na mabibili. You have to pre-order it or you won't get a copy. And that happened to me. I'm now waiting for the 4th printing. I've already pre-ordered mine because I was thinking, hindi, pagdating yan dito, makakabili pa rin ako. No, I had to pre-order and I'm already in the 4th printing. I must say though, that after one play, it truly lived up to its hype. And I can't say that about so many games, right? I can't say that it lives up to the hype. But this game really did. Since it's from Stonemaier, the quality of the components is no longer a surprise. I mean, gosh, they thought of everything. The bird feeder, where the dice tower where you roll the food tokens, the food dice. The eggs, they really are eggs. They look so cute. Pwede mo siyang kainin din. Hindi mo siya pwedeng kainin, but it looks so cute na feeling mo pwede siyang kainin. The card art and even the containers in the box. They thought of everything, but that's usually the case with Stonemaier, right? And if you've been listening to this channel, if you've been listening to this podcast, you know that I love engine building games. I really, really do. And this is such a fantastic engine building game. I cannot wait to play it more when I get my copy. So please get here soon. Anyway, so those are the games that I recently played. I told you it was quite a lot. Let's now quickly talk about Culling Once Collection, which is supposedly the main segment of this episode. So first of all, I would just like to highlight that the number of games one can keep definitely varies. And to cull or not to cull one's collection is totally subjective and there is no right or wrong answer. I'm just talking about my own collection and what I think is right for me, my budget, and my space. So my collection is always in the area of 150 games, not counting expansions. I started collecting in 2015 and it has grown exponentially. I recently fixed them and put together some shelf space specifically for games. and I started to cull my collections. I wanted to get down to 150 games. I told myself 150 seems to be a good number. I mean, others have 300 or 400 or 500 games. But honestly, I would prefer to cut it down to 100 maximum. And this is what I am working on. I haven't been that successful, guys. I must tell you, there's so many games and there's so many good games that I haven't been successful in cutting this down to 100. But I am trying. So why do I want to limit my games? First of all, I don't want to be a hoarder. That's the number one reason. I mean, come on, can you really play all of these games in 1 year? Right? I mean, why do I have to keep 150 games even or 300? But that's me. I also have a limited shelf space. I only have 3 bookshelves that I've compressed together, and that's all that it can take. It's filled to the brim. I also have limited game time. Like I always say, I have a full-time job, and there's just too many games. And I hate the fact that it takes me some time before I can get to a game. Especially since madaling-madali ako bilhin yung game na yun. And then, in the end, hindi ko naman siya malalaro agad. So it feels really bad. And I always feel like some other person would benefit from a game. But no, nakipag-agawan ako. Like sa Wingspan, na hindi mo naman sure kung malalaro mo ba pagdating niya. Well, Wingspan I will. Anyway, I digress. Also, sometimes, for me, a game replaces another game. So, Pandemic Base was replaced by Pandemic Iberia, at least for me. This was a hard decision because I love Pandemic. But there was actually no point to keep both. And since I preferred playing with Pandemic Iberia, it can still go up to 5 players, which is why I had the base game and On the Brink expansion. Then there's no point in keeping the base game. So what do I take into consideration in choosing games to cull from my collection? As much as possible, I want to have played the game and found that it did not fit well for me or for my friends. So during my first time to cull my collection, I sold some games that were unplayed and some of them were still in the wrapper. And that made me feel so bad, especially since I'm not really selling this for a high price. So whenever I cull, I make sure that I cut the SRP down to half. That's how I sell my games. Because I'm not selling it for a profit or whatever. I'm just really selling it because I feel like people will benefit from this game because I haven't been playing it. And also, I need the shelf space, right? So I sell them for half of the SRP. I also sell a game I enjoy when I think it has served its purpose. Meaning, I've outgrown it or I have played it to death. Like Machikoro, Pandemic base game, or Castle Panic. I make sure though that these games that I sell or trade are in good condition. It's sleeved, the box is not worn out. Because I want to make sure that these games go to someone who will get to play them and enjoy them. But bakit naman ako magbibenta ng basura na, diba? Nakakahiya din yun to the other board gamers. I've seen someone talk about a game that he got rid of and regretted it and bought another copy. So is there a game that I've gotten rid of and regretted it? No, of course not. Although honestly, if I had unlimited space, money, and time, I would keep each and every game. But since I don't, I just think of it as an investment in my space and time to tailor fit the games that I own to those that I truly enjoy. I mentioned earlier that I like Exploding Kittens more than Organ Attack, and these are the two games that are usually compared. Did I regret getting rid of my Exploding Kittens copy? No, I do not, because I still believe that I have played that game to death. Well, some of my friends will not agree because they really love that game. But I was like, nope, this is taking up too much shelf space, and you guys have to play some other games. So I got rid of it. So how about you guys? Do you cull your collection? Do you keep everything? Do you have your own metrics? How often do you do it? Please do let us know, because I think learning about different systems of doing this is very interesting. So for me, I cull my collections every time I reach that 150 mark. And then I go down to at least 130, 120, and then I accumulate again, and then I get rid of them again. So I also try to make sure that I've played everything that I get rid of. I know there are some people that get rid of games that they haven't played because feeling nila hindi nila may enjoy. But for me, I almost sold Bang the Dice game. And then I played it again and I loved it. So if you want to let us know how you get rid of your games or how you cull your collection, do let us know by getting in touch with us in the variety of different ways. Email theboardgamerph@gmail.com, Facebook or Instagram @/theboardgamerph. So with that segment done, I have another announcement. I am again in my culling phase. Yes, I have reached the 150 mark again. So to celebrate my 10th episode next episode, I am launching my very first giveaway. So what am I giving away? I am giving away one small game and one big game from my cull pile. This giveaway will have two winners, and one will be picking one game from the small pile, and another person will pick one game from the big game pile. They pick first, and then that's when I sell it. Okay? So how do you enter? It's quite easy. Just make sure you like the Facebook page of OnDeck with the Boardgamer PH, share the giveaway post, which I will be posting along with the launch of this episode. Comment which one you would like from the pile. That's it. Easy, right? You can even just give us a message if you don't want to comment. So please do enter the giveaway. Winners will be announced next episode, the 10th episode. Well, let's see. If we get enough entries, we'll announce it on the 10th episode, if not on the 11th episode. But for now, I'm targeting to give it away by the 10th episode. And yes, we are on our 10th episode. Next episode, double digits, baby. And hopefully the winners give some of my games a new home where it will get more play. So I'm looking at it now. I mean, if you want to have a preview of the games that I'll be giving away, I have the complete set of the Resistance, meaning the Resistance base game with all of its expansions, Codenames Deep Undercover, Queen Domino, The Quest for El Dorado, Card Line or Timeline. I think that's the Diversity Edition. The Ticket to Ride Europe expansion 1912, Tides of Time, Tides of Madness, Don't Mess with Cthulhu, Cryptos, Tiny Epic Quest, an expansion of Dixit, which is the Odyssey expansion, Say Anything, Rhino Hero, Deadline, and Dice Town. So for now, those are the games that are in my cull pile. So with that announcement done, let's now go to our final segment, From the Meeple. So my question last week was of course related to the previous episode, wherein I asked you guys, what are your favorite multiplayer games to play with two players? Here are some of the responses. So David said Spirit Island, Architects of the West Kingdom, and Descent 2nd Edition. And he also made a cute collage. So thank you for that, David. I have Architects of the West Kingdom. I don't have Spirit Island. I think I'll try Architects of the West Kingdom with two players because Blue really loves Raiders of the North Sea with two players. Ben also said Carcassonne plays nicely even with just a date. I agree with that. I totally agree with this. Carcassonne is very good with two players. Nowadays, I play Carcassonne digitally through my iPad. I don't have the base game, the actual analog game anymore. Next, EJ said Tiny Epic Galaxies plays well with two players. I agree. I also played Tiny Epic Galaxies with Blue, and we both enjoyed it very much. I think it's because yung follow, diba? Parang isang tao lang yung follow mo. So it's easier to keep track of. But I agree. I really like Tiny Epic Galaxies with just two players. Ivan said 5 tribes for sure. Well, I haven't played 5 tribes with multiple people, but I agree that it plays well with two players. Although, ito yung sinasabi namin na you control 2 tokens, right? In 5 tribes. But I like 5 tribes, period. So, yeah. Junail also said Azul, Castles of Burgundy, and Great Western Trail. Oh, some of those are really heavy games. Azul, I've played that with 2, 3, and 4 players. Yes, I agree that it plays well with 2 players also. Although, like I said, I didn't really enjoy Azul that much. And then I also got some feedback from my Instagram. Noe Huerta said Azul, Isle of Skye, Wingspan, Welcome to, Karuba, Railroad Inc., Cat Lady, Quacks of Quedlinburg, Resident Evil, and Bob Ross Art of Chill. Ooh, interesting. So I haven't played a lot of these games with just 2 players. I think I want to try them. Definitely Cat Lady, because I know that sushi, it's usually compared to Sushi Go. I didn't like Sushi Go with just 2 players, so I'm interested to see how Cat Lady plays with just 2 players. And then the Gaming of Hill House said Terraforming Mars plus Prelude, Railroad Inc., Biblios, Ghost Stories, Last Night on Earth, Queen Domino, Stone Age, and Ticket to Ride. Well, I've played a lot of these in 2 players. Terraforming Mars, definitely. I think for me, I would prefer playing Terraforming Mars with just 2 players because it can get quite overwhelming at some point. Oh, another vote for Railroad Inc. I have to try Railroad Inc. with 2 players. Biblios, yes, I agree. I like Biblios with 2 players. Queen Domino. I know that in Queen Domino, you can make your grid bigger if you're just playing it with 2 players, right? Stone Age and Ticket to Ride, I've also played that with 2 players. Stone Age, I agree. And Ticket to Ride, that was my number 1. Well, Ticket to Ride India specifically. So if you would like to get in touch with us to weigh in on this topic, please do shoot us a quick message or email, comment or message us on Facebook or Instagram. And that's going to wrap up today's episode. Thank you guys for listening. If you like this episode, please share it to someone you think will like it too. If you would like to hear or see more from us, please subscribe to our show in any of the different podcatchers you are using. We are available in Spotify, Apple Podcast, Overcast. You may also follow us on Instagram to see pictures and videos of our board game sessions. Finally, if you have any feedback, comment, question, or story as a board game collector and or moderator that you would like to share, please do send it across at theboardgamerph@gmail.com or facebook.com/theboardgamerph. And we will talk about it in a future episode. So that's it for this week. I'll see you guys again in 2 weeks.